I'm super inspired by learning, just the process of trying to become better, both physically, morally, ethically. I've got tons of little pastimes, probably too many, where I'm trying to get good at certain things, and so that's what I love. I love just the learning process. So
Yeah, it's what I like too. I like to learn and then teach and teach to learn. Then it's an infinite cycle.
exactly.
I started a project. I've decided to call it the Global Grappling Project. It's to travel the world and gather the best tricks about having a good jiu-jitsu school and put all the tricks together and share it with the jiu-jitsu community. Would you tell us about yourself a little bit, like introduce yourself, tell us your story?
Sure. So my name is Paul Bedard. I was born here in North Bay, born and raised here my whole life. I moved to Toronto to work and, start life. And then I had an opportunity after about 15 years to move to South Africa. And that's where I started actually my jiu-jitsu journey. So when I moved there, I was looking for like different hobbies, different things to do. So I started learning how to surf and started jiu-jitsu and started yoga. So those are three things I had never done before. And those were like my new focus over there. So I was working and doing that part-time, and I just fell in love with jiu-jitsu. And so I was, like I said a while ago, we were talking before, I pretty much found myself like just waiting for work to be finished so I could go do jiu-jitsu or I could go do yoga, or I could just, because where I lived in South Africa was a very outdoors community, very tropical, very health conscious. So yeah, my lifestyle changed a lot. I moved from Toronto working almost borderline workaholic, I would say, or even workaholic. And when I moved to South Africa, I started to chill out a little bit more, and so I was doing like the morning classes, the evening classes, I was doing privates on the weekend, and I just fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I fell in love with like the peace of mind you get, the community, the people I met. And more over time, my mind was more on jiu-jitsu than it was on work. And so it kind of became a logical conclusion to be like, you know what, maybe I have to work on an exit strategy. So I spent about 3 or 4 years working, but with the plan of saving up and eventually starting my own gym. And then that's basically what I did. During COVID, I decided to move back to Canada. And when I moved here, I had a house in Toronto, and Toronto just wasn't my lifestyle anymore. So I said, you know what, let me move back, be closer to my family, my roots, and let me try to open up a gym and try to share something that meant a lot to me and I think can help people a lot. So I said, let me just pour myself into it and give it a go. So it's been about 1.5 years. We've been running the gym, and yeah, we're trying to make it work. It's not easy, but we try to make it work. Yeah.
At a point in your life, you found a new way of living through jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I really enjoyed, I just met so many really cool people, and what got me was like that diversity of people, like from the different, like people who would never know each other outside of jiu-jitsu. I would never meet some of these people, and they never had a chance to meet those people, because even to look at them, you'd be like, oh, so that person looks, a bit like off-putting or a little bit rough, or I would never walk up to that person in regular life. But on the mat, everyone's the same. Like, there's just, you have this one thing in common, which is this love of jiu-jitsu. So yeah, it brought a lot to my life. Like people that I met, just the relaxation, this like meditative, like sort of thing that you get from it, where when you leave, you're just like so refreshed. So like even now, my girlfriend, she's just like, every time I come home from class, she's like, you're in such a positive state. Every time you come back from jiu-jitsu, it's like infectious. Like it just makes the whole house happy. And so it's just something I love to do. So my plan is to try and make the gym work. And yeah, I'm just throwing myself into it and see what happens.
What inspired you to call your gym the Garden?
Yeah, so I struggled a lot with what to call it, like, because all the gyms have very similar logos, and it's always like something like mean, and it's always like a circle with a triangle of some
Like
sort.
black and white logo.
Yeah, it's black and white and red. But yeah, so when I moved back to North Bay, I bought a property like I won't say exactly where it is, but it's basically in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a forest. And I've got about 2 acres, an acre and a half cleared out. And I do a lot of gardening. So I spent a lot of time in the garden, like taking care of the plants. And like, I really feel like there's something about gardening. Like when you're there and you're taking care of the plants, the amount of attention you have to pay to all the little tiny details that most people might not see. And it's just very therapeutic. So the more time I spent in the garden, the more I was like, wow, there's so many parallels between this and trying to learn jujitsu or even
Mm-hmm.
trying to teach jujitsu. It's like the amount of attention you have to pay to the tiny little details that you think are not important, but they absolutely are important. It'll be the difference between your plant living and giving you a yield or dying.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, the more I started working on the garden and developing my property and building that, the more I was like, you know what, the garden seems like a really cool name. So it's like about paying attention to the small little details and nuances in life that most people might miss, and then slowing down and kind of enjoying that journey of learning,
Mm-hmm.
because you'll never perfect jujitsu. It's like it's bigger than anything. So
Yeah.
all you can do is that every day try to become a little bit better or improve your technique slightly or learn a new technique and just trust the process that you just come every day and you do the work and in the end you'll get better.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hoping to do. And we do open mats here every Saturday, and it's the whole jiu-jitsu community is invited. Like we want people to come and we want them to invite us into their spaces as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole philosophy of just we're going to grow together and we're going to share our knowledge, I think in the long run is better for jiu-jitsu and is better for you as an individual. So that's the philosophy we try to embrace here. Again, I want to reach people that you would think would never do jiu-jitsu. I would like
Mm-hmm.
my gym to be like this weird mishmash of super competitive athletes to people who just come in here to mess around a little bit and may stick with it or may not stick with it. And like I said earlier, my philosophy is very much about training 70 to 80% of your max and never being injured and being able to just train every single day for the rest of your life. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that in the long run, that's a better method of learning and training. So
Yeah, yeah.
I I don't have any desire for, you know, what I'm trying to teach. I'm just teaching the jiu-jitsu that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And my students actually sometimes will guide me outside of my comfort zone into like these weird reverse triangle positions that I've never even been in.
Mm-hmm.
And as a teacher, also, I have to admit that I also don't know much about this position, but together we can just play and learn and explore.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I learn something from every class. So even if I'm doing the basic beginner class curriculum, I'm going to learn something that day. Some individual will make me look at it in a different way, look at the position in a different way, or will add some small little nuance. It's a forever learning journey, and that's what I love. I'm super inspired by learning,
Mm-hmm.
just the process of trying to become better, both physically, morally, ethically. I've got tons of little pastimes, probably too many, where I'm trying to get good at certain things, and so that's what I love. I love just the learning process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's what I like to. I like to learn and then teach and teach to learn. Then it's an infinite cycle.
exactly.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu is this weird thing where it's this combination of you're taking from the community, but you're also pouring yourself into the community, and the community is benefiting from that, but you're also benefiting from sharing that with the community, and it just feeds, like you said, it's like this snowball effect
Yeah,
of
yeah,
everyone's winning together, and it's just so much fun. I leave here every evening. It's like 9:30 after I'm done cleaning the mats, but I'm like the happiest. I go home, I'm singing, I'm like, this is so much better than living a corporate life, at least for me.
mm-hmm.
I did it for 20 years, and I'm quite happy that I have this opportunity to try something quite different. And so, yeah, loving the journey.
What is your favorite way to teach people? What could be the most efficient way, in your opinion, to make durable and solid uh, competence into your students? Are you more into games or drilling or?
So we have a very structured curriculum. It's very much rooted in the basic fundamentals of jiu-jitsu. We don't have like complex, like even tonight we're doing the seminar on octopus guard, and that's not something I teach specifically in the class. I'm kind of familiar with it, but for me, this whole seminar is going to be a learning experience for me to learn from one of the best at that position. So we have a very structured, we teach the basics, like the very, very basics, like so very similar to like a Gracie kind of university program where everything is kind of laid out and this is the technical criteria for you to get your blue belt. So we have a very similar structured approach to that.
Yep.
It's a lot of drilling. I have been reading a lot about this ecological jiu-jitsu and like the benefits of that. So we do try to build in a lot of like game-based stuff and a lot of like reflex drilling or situational drilling. So we mix in like a little bit of that, but I don't know what the best approach is. And I think it varies from person to person. So I might have a class of 5 students one night. I might have a class of 12 students one night, but every night I'm going to look at who's in the class and we're going to kind of like just tweak it.
Yeah.
You know, I have a curriculum that I'm going to teach. I know what it is, but based on who shows up to the class and my knowledge of where they are in their journey, I'm going to massage the way that I teach it. So yeah, there's a lot of like flexibility within this framework. So we have a pretty rigid framework, but a lot of flexibility in how the class is going to run. And I do a beginner class for an hour and an advanced class for an hour. And those two things often end up just kind of merging together and being like, you know, how do I make sure that everyone in the class, regardless of their level, gets something out of that specific class?
One last question. It's the question I asked everywhere I went around the world. What would be the secret to build a good jiu-jitsu academy from scratch?
So I've been open for 1.5 years. We've been in this place for a year. My approach is that this is a space that I pay monthly rent for. It's here, it's available, it's set up for jiu-jitsu. I just want to fill it with as many people doing jiu-jitsu for as much of the time that I'm paying for this space, right? It's open. So my approach is going to be open book, open cards. This is what we're doing. Whether people learn all of the jiu-jitsu that we're teaching and we don't have any secrets to bring out at competitions, I'm not worried about that. I think the approach is to have just an open mind about everything that there is about jiu-jitsu and to not try to judge it or pigeonhole it and say, this person's doing it wrong. There's a million different ways to do this. Everyone's just going to go, it's going to be the free market of people trying it in different ways, and the best ways will eventually win. Like maybe the ecological approach is absolutely the best way, and based on theory, it seems to be, right? Based on learning theory, it seems to be, but I think the answer will be somewhere in the middle. It'll be a combination of this ecological approach plus traditional drilling to make sure you're building the neural pathways that like your body remembers the move and you don't have to think. So yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but I know that what I'm going to try is to just be as open to every possibility, every other gym coming and cross training. We'll have seminars here. I'll go to the other schools and do their seminars. And we're just trying to do as much jiu-jitsu, and it's team jiu-jitsu at the end of the day. I really believe in this sport. So I want to put everything into it to try and just give back. And I know that in the end, everybody wins if we all take that approach. So that's the approach I'm going to have here at the Garden, and we'll see how it goes. And maybe I'll be here in 5 years, and maybe I won't. So who knows? I think I'll still be here.
I wish you to be here in 5 years. I wish you the best for your academy, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time and
good stuff.
For sharing with us those golden nuggets.
Superb. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Nice meeting you.